Earl, why you gotta do this, man? Why you gotta do this? Now, as a Seahawk fan who's watched Earl since his rookie year in that awesome dark blue uniform, I think there is still some left of Earl Thomas, but behavior-wise has now been questionable. He is somewhat reminding me of an Antonio Brown-like. Now, I think Earl will get it together. I think he will. I still have faith in Earl. But let's say he does get it together later on, which some people are going to doubt and question Earl. Who are the 5 teams that should sign him? Now, let you all know, this is not in order. It's not in order who I think needs him the most or all that. But these are the 5 teams I think that need Earl Thomas. Spoiler alert, no Seattle Seahawks, because I think we can all agree that the Seahawks are just moving on with him. So let's start. New Orleans Saints. Why am I picking the Saints in this list? As in picking, I mean I put them on this list. Look at 3 of the last 4 playoff games. A Minnesota Miracle. A stop you could have done with the Rams, even though there should have been a pass interference in the NFC Championship game, but still your defense did not hold them in the late in the fourth quarter to tie things up or in overtime. And then another loss to the Minnesota Vikings, this time in your own home field. See, the Saints are coming up short, especially when it comes to the secondary trying to do its job. Now, I believe they did sign Jenkins. I could be wrong, but still, though. I know people are mentioning Clowney could be a Saint, but why not Earl? Earl makes sense to me going to the Saints, especially with situations like that when you're coming up short. So I think Earl to the Saints would be interesting. San Francisco 49ers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Our defense is stacked. You know, us 49er fans think our defense is good. It is good. You're right. But their secondary is not just enough. They have Sherman. But how long can Sherman go? How long can... I mean, yes, the defensive line and the linebackers are pretty good for San Francisco. But a reunion with Sherman would be great for Earl. Especially when the Niners secondary would need something like Earl if they go back to the Super Bowl and let's say they play against the Chiefs again. You're going to need something for that. I mean, the Super Bowl was a good example for the defense. They did not have that much on the secondary. And Sherman can't do it all by himself. So I think Earl going to San Francisco does make sense. I personally think it does.
Brown Nation! I'm still alive, baby. I'm still alive.
Anyway. Cleveland, they have a lot of cap space, I think. They tried to go after Earl Thomas last offseason. And honestly, I think it would be interesting for him to go to Cleveland to play against the Ravens. Now, if he does on one team, joins one of the teams on the list I put up, he would play both the Seahawks and the Ravens. And I think Cleveland definitely needs the defensive help. Now, they are also trying to get Clowney to come to Cleveland, and we'll see. If they somehow do both get Clowney and Earl, oh my gosh, the hype comes back. Especially when Cleveland was such a disappointment last year. They don't have like a true leadership in the secondary. Not really. So, him going to Cleveland,
Oh, brother, let me tell you, if it comes to Cleveland, it's all over. It's all over. We will win the Super Bowl, brother. We will win it.
God, I miss doing that voice, but I also hate it. Houston Texans. Why the Houston Texans? Well, if you forget, I think people forget Earl came from the Longhorns. And, you know, Texas is his home. And playing for some team in your home state would be interesting. And Houston needs... They need help. Oh, let's be for real. Bill O'Brien is not a good manager, nor I don't think he's a good coach. And JJ can't do it all by himself. So really, if they bring in Earl, it'd be interesting. And then we have the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, defensively to me, do not have real leadership. And plus, he wants to be a Cowboy. As we remember a few years ago, if Seattle didn't want to sign him back or trade him, it'd be the Dallas Cowboys. So I just look at that situation right now with him wanting to go to Dallas. I personally do believe that would fit, especially if it's a team that he grew up loving as a kid. I think it'd be interesting for him to play with his childhood team. So I personally do believe this is a good possibility. But if I had to really say out of all these teams, though, for Earl, his mind, probably Dallas. But which team needs him overall, out of all that list? I think all those teams do need him. Earl's mind is probably on Dallas. Which team needs him the most? I would say Cleveland. But if you want to talk about Super Bowl contenders, it's the Saints. Because they're coming up short. San Francisco has a good enough defense as it is. New Orleans does not. Now, do I think him going to the Niners is a possibility? Yeah. Reunite with Sherman because the Niners just can't rely on Sherman that much on the secondary. I mean, that's just my opinion. You could question that if you want. Well, I personally think New Orleans would need him the most, especially when your secondary is coming up short 3 out of the last 4 playoff games. San Francisco's getting ready. They're already ready as it is. Dallas, hometown, Texans, close to close to, you could say, because they're both in Texas. Cleveland, they need they need a real defensive leader in the secondary. But we've seen some hype like that before. If him and Clowney do go to Cleveland, we've seen the hype last year. How's it going to die out this time? Because if that does happen, and they don't make the playoffs, wow. Well, that would be. I don't know how else can you miss the playoffs with that type of roster if you bring in Clowney and Earl. And Niners just to me need another secondary guy in there. So really, that's about it. Do I personally think Earl will be signed before the season starts? I want to say yes. I will say yes, actually. If he can get his act together, I think he'll be with the team sooner than you think. So what do you guys think? Who are the top 5 teams you think Earl should go to? Or will he not even play at all this season? Leave a comment down below. Hit the like button, share with your friends, subscribe to more videos like this one. This is Teacher TV Tank Mouse signing out.
Hey, brother, if we get Earl, oh man, we'll be in the Super Bowl! Mic drop! Proud Nation for life!